What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Shiv, and today we're going to be talking about minerals and keeping everything going. All right, so as you're playing Second Galaxy, you're going to quickly realize that much of your progress is going to be gated behind one thing, and it's not time. It is not time. It is going to be minerals. All right, for those of you who are kind of confused what I'm talking about, it's literally stuff like this, all right? You're going to need an exorbitant amount. This is actually kind of a low amount. Now, as you get past or get to level 30, complete that, you have no more storyline missions. So you're no longer going to get that big burst from completing chapters that you were getting previous. So, that's going to kind of suck. But that does not mean you are without options. Okay, there are many ways to get minerals, and we're going to cover all of them. Now, the reason why minerals are so important is because this right here, research. All right, let's say I'm going to push for, actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to push for an NEF Cruiser 2, right? Okay, well, how much is that going to cost me? Well, as we're seeing here, that's 55,000 of the most common, 13,000 of the second most common, and then 3,500, and then 874. That's quite a bit. That is absolutely quite a bit. So, how are we going to go about getting this? Well, there's several ways. Number one, and this is the most important one I will tell you, is join a corporation, preferably a large one that has sovereignties. Because what ends up happening is you're going to make a plethora of stuff like this, as well as daily amounts, to where you're going to get huge amounts of corporate credits that you could use to basically just buy what you need. This is by far the simplest method there is. However, finding a good sized corporation that'll take you in might be a little bit of a trick. All right, the other option that is very similar to this is by using the marketplace, which uses the Pan Gala currency. Now, you get this pretty much from doing business, trading commodities, trading contraband. And as you can see here, if we were to take these clone embryos, which no, we can't do that. Let's find one that we can take in. All right, so here we go. We have two of these giant worm eggs. If we were to take these in, that's 400K right there. That is a lot of minerals I could buy with that. All right. Now, obviously, transporting this stuff is a little bit dangerous, so be very, very cautious when doing it. Generally, I would stack up a bunch of this before doing it. So the Pan Gala method is a little bit. Of course, there's also selling commodities, which if you've got enough of them, there you go. And as you can see, you get different levels of them, which is actually kind of nice. Since we've actually gone to the next status with the ECD in terms of reputation, we now have another one that we can go and start doing some stuff with. And these AI servants, if I had any of these, I could be getting 768 a pop. Now, if I was trying to buy them, I could get them for 275 a pop from using the player trade currency. So, I mean, you can kind of trade it around right there. 275 to buy and turn around and sell for 768. So that's a 3 times conversion profit. That's not too bad. Now, if I want to jump out a little bit further, then we're kind of looking at almost a 4 times conversion. Almost. So it kind of gives you an idea there. Is it worth it? That's going to be a judgmental call. So just laying out your options. Now, we talked about the easiest ones. Let's talk about the most obvious ones. And that's basically going to be using your gravitational scanner and scanning for it. All right, you can go to systems, scan, boom, get some ore, process it into minerals. This is not the most efficient. It really isn't. And here's why. Even if you're going out there with a battle cruiser that's got about 700, and let's say you push that up to about 800 with some devices and so on. Okay, cool, or components, my bad. Okay, cool. So now you're getting 800. You will fill that up relatively quickly, depending on the quality of your scanner and or where you're actually going to mine. All right, it's a little hit or miss, but on average, it comes out to about 3 to 5 jumps, and you'll fill up your cargo with that. Now, the conversion, when you're converting all that over into the minerals is a little bit haphazard, but it basically comes out to about 6 to 7,000 of the most common, and then it all scales down from there. Now, obviously, if you get some of the more rarer stuff like the purple and or the yellow stuff, you get a much better payout from that. But for the most part, it's not nearly as efficient. Now, the other obvious one is going to be dispatch mining. And this one you're going to probably be doing all the time. You're always going to have these guys going out there. Now, there is a downside with this, okay? And the downside is that these can be attacked by pretty much anybody if you're in low sec space. Or even if you're in high sec space, they can still get attacked. I've had it happen. So that's going to be somewhat of an issue. So you have to kind of be really wary of it. As you can see, we've already got one who needs to be repaired because we had something similar. Now, when it comes to dispatch, I'm going to say right now, there is a couple things you really need to kind of put a little bit of focus on. And that's going to be recruit dispatch rewards, so you get better mining yields. Squad size is also very important. So instead of sending here, we're sending 3, we can now send 4, which means we're mining the area quicker. Okay, mining the area quicker. So that is always good. And of course, we've got the leadership as well, which if we were to grab this one, increase the number of squads on dispatch. So now I can put out 4 versus 3 squads total. Again, if you've got a lot of recruits and they're very well trained, so on, then this is a really great way of maximizing that income for minerals. But again, it does take a little bit more work to get that to where it's somewhat decent. Even if I was to upgrade this to 4, right? You can honestly say that's going to be about a 33% increase depending on the quality level of the recruits that we're sending out there. So realistically, we would be looking at, like, if I was to have 4 people on that first one up there that has a tier 2 on it, that would probably bring that down a lot closer to 3 hours to do. On the mining one, that would bring it a lot closer to 5 hours, and same with the other one. It would be about 5-6 hours, give or take. While that is a little bit more effective, obviously the quality of your recruits is definitely going to play a big role in determining how fast that's going to go. Also, the mine yield will also help out dramatically in that. Okay, so those are the obvious, the easiest, the basics, but which is the most efficient? Well, none of them. The most efficient is, ironically enough, the encounter system. So how the encounter system works is you get yourself a bunch of these encrypted caches. As you see, we've got 4 here, we've got 4 of these, we've got 3 of these. We don't have any purples or gold ones yet, all right? And you basically chain a bunch of them together, and then you run out and you just go and complete them all. Like right now, we have, 11 of them? This would take me about 30 minutes or so to complete, if that. And on return, I would have something close to about 26,000 of the most common mineral. So as you can see right there, it gets a little bit better. Now, the reason why I say that encounters are the best is, one, you're going to be doing your encounters because they're pretty much your bread and butter for your daily XP grinds and so on. You generally get 3 of these per use of the encounter, so that means that's 3 opportunities to get one of these crates. And you can kind of tailor it to get very specific ones. So right here it shows, oh yeah, the possibility of getting this. But if we actually go to the encounter, right, you kind of see what's up here.
What are you looking at?
Look at what he's offering. And now this gives you a better idea. So you can kind of look here, implant, yay, yay. Oh, look at this, possible blue. Now, I will tell you right now, the higher this is, the more likely this is to be this color. So 35, I'm going to say it's about a 50% chance to be a blue. If it's up to like 38, almost 40, it's almost guaranteed to be a blue. I have heard at 42 you can start getting the purples, but again, don't quote me on that. It might just be rumor mill. It is what it is. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to do a bunch of these, and we're going to come back and show you the results just so you can see the time invested as well as the materials gotten. Okay, so now we're going to get started on doing the encrypted caches. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit max on all of them, basically, and we're going to manually open them up. Now this might be a little bit challenging, but it's actually relatively simple. You know, the idea is to basically get the target where you sort of think it's supposed to be. Wait a minute. And there you go. So you do that a couple times and you should be okay. It does take a little bit longer, but you save yourself some money, and that's going to be really important as you get into fleet battles to where you're constantly having to replace things if you're getting blown up. So anything you can do to save yourself some money, go ahead and do it. All right, as you can see, we have 16 of these exploration quests. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go and do this. Now for this, we are going to use our divine. We are going to configure it for speed, which it's already set up for. We could add more holding space, but it will not be needed, so we don't have to worry about the cargo hold. So let's go ahead and get to it, and we'll go to the first one and just show you how simple this is.
Starting warp engine.
Ironically enough, this will also be the setup we'll do our mining with, since it's pretty much a universal. It's one of the things I love about battle cruisers. They could be used for multiple different types of ops with very little change needed, unless it's fleet action, and then they're kind of dedicated to a very specific role. Most notably providing either some sort of AoE energy, AoE shield, or AoE interference, depending on the role. Alright, so this is going to take us a couple jumps, so let's just bear with it.
Commencing warp. Arrived at target location.
Now the process of jumping is actually not all that time consuming. Where the time consumption comes when trying to get minerals is when you're mining. Because not only do you have to jump to another system, you have to jump to the asteroid field, and then you have to fly in non-luminous speeds in order to get to the asteroid. And while, yes, in smaller ships you can get to them a lot quicker, the amount you're able to hold is significantly less. So the battlecruiser is kind of an interesting balance between two worlds. With this setup here, we could go about 1200 versus your normal 800, or actually, my bad, 400, so that's kind of good. But if you were to compare that to, say, a frigate, which can go like 25 to 3,000, then yeah, it's a little slow. Alright, so we're coming into the area.
Arrived at target location.
And it's going to be a spatial rift. These are very, very simple.
Approaching target. Approaching target. Approaching target. Target engaged.
And as you can see, we're pulling from the spatial rift. And we get this big, huge burst here. And as you saw, there was like 1,700 of the most common. Well, guess what? We can keep pulling. We're not going to get those big bursts. We'll get much smaller bursts after that, but they all count, especially when you're seeing that we're also getting that wonderful purple mineral that, while we don't need much of, you are going to need some of. So it's always good to get everything you possibly can from doing this. And we've got one more pull on this.
Target
And then
engaged.
we're going to hit here, which is automatically going to take us to the next exploration on our list, which is kind of a nice thing. You don't get that with mining, so you have to do a lot of micromanaging there, which again is one of the downsides of mining.
Commencing warp.
The massive amount of micromanaging is kind of annoying, but the upside to mining is there are no limitations to it. The only thing that can limit you in doing explorations is the amount of caches you can get. And outside of just doing exploration, the only other place you can get caches is off the trading post spending your player trade currency. So,
Starting
that's
warp.
another method I didn't quite bring up because it's kind of tied in with the exploration, but
Commencing warp.
you kind of get the point. So we're going to finish this up
Arrived
and come
at
back with the
target
results.
location.
All right, so 43 minutes and 49 seconds later, 48 jumps total. Actually pretty good if you didn't do the math on that. All right, so let's see what we pulled out of that 16 encrypted caches. Now remember, we had like 6 green, 5 blues, and 5 grays. All right, so 407 of the purple, 2.2k of the blue, 8.8k of the green, 35k of the common, and also we got so many of these little crates here that we're going to be able to open stuff for a while. We also got some more contraband that we could use, to build up our Pangala amount from there too. So I mean, that's pretty epic right there. 43 minutes, boom, huge amount you can get. Now you're going to get to a point where this is not going to be enough. All right, so you're going to have to do a combination of things here. Now, I was going to do the mining just to show you how little it is, but anybody who's played this game who's tried to do the mining already knows that when you're mining, you're not mining minerals, you're mining ore, and ore takes up more space than you actually get from minerals. Now, from that load we just got right there, that was a little over 50%. Little over 50% of my total cargo space. I would have been able to have that same cargo space filled in about maybe 15 minutes, depending on how good of my scanning research is and how good my scanner is, etc., and what kind of prosperity we're looking in, and a little bit of RNG. It would basically be filled in about 15-20 minutes. But there's a lot of dead time in there, so it's really only like 3 or 4 jumps and then coming back. And I would have gotten about 1/5 the amount. So yes, the most efficient way of getting minerals is exploration. The downside is you have a limited amount of them a day. On average, you can get about, I would say, 9 exploration crates or encrypted caches a day. Very easily. If you're buying the things to allow you to do more encounters, God bless you, go ahead. Or if you're spending your player trade currency in the trading post to buy more, which I'm not even joking about this, you can actually get these here. I would not recommend it, to be perfectly honest. As you can see, the prices here, green is 32,000. That seems relatively reasonable. The advanced is 74, less reasonable. Nobody's gotten any of the purples or golds yet, so yay for that. So as you can see, yeah, it's a little bit pricey here, but you could definitely keep doing this if you wanted to. And that's something to consider. Ideally, what I would recommend is, going and doing the thing that feeds into your exploration, the encounters, doing about 9 of those a day, which means you're clicking on it at least 3 times. That way you're getting 9 containers. Then after you do the encounters for the second day, you're going to have about 18 containers. Well, then you go and you pile all those minerals up in one fell swoop, and you're doing good. Now, when you combine this with other activities, such as using your corporate store and so on, you should be able to pretty much daily have about 100k worth of your core basic stuff in the bank all the time. Now, if you're in a much bigger corporation than I am that has more sovereignties and so on, you're going to be earning more from that. and so on and so on. So, I mean, there's another thing that you can also get from that. Now, there are a couple other ways you can get some minerals licenses, all right? So, if you're learning up new ships, do the licenses, you'll get some from that. The side plot stuff, you could do those, you'll get some minerals from that, but eventually those too will run out. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, all right? If you really want to keep everything constantly going, you're going to constantly have to pay attention to your mineral count. And guys, I hate to tell you this, you will have to do mining. While I say it's inefficient and not overly good, eventually you're going to come to a point where you are forced to do it. All right? So do yourself a favor, put a lot of investment into your dispatches, all right? More yield, more people on it, goes by quicker. That way you can constantly keep churning those out to constantly keep producing. Do your encounters to get your caches. Use your caches every 2 days to do a big, huge bulk retrieval like we did here. And you should be in a relatively good place. So anyway, guys, that's going to be all for this video. I hope you guys enjoy. If you like these videos, please like, subscribe, leave comments down below. Till next time, this is Shiv saying stay safe, have fun, may orange juice bless you. Peace.